Jeff, it's a pleasure to be back.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I hope you had a great summer and you're back at work.
As fast as it was as good as it could be. We have a short season
I know
in New
it's
England here, but it was wonderful.
Way
Thank
too
you.
short, but you know it's been the weather's been holding into the season. But I know there's a lot that goes on in the marketplace, and there's been a lot that's gone on through the summer in the marketplace. So, what's the hot topic for the day?
Well, there's been a couple of data points that has attracted everybody's attention and interest. Some good, some not so good. But in June, we had an interesting event when the Federal Reserve suggested that their bond buying may start to be diminished, and that term is now coined as tapering. You know, they will not be as supportive of the bond market, and concern over what would be happening to interest rates actually sent interest rates up. You know, the benchmark interest rate is the 10-year Treasury, which just prior to this announcement earlier in the spring was at historic lows of about 1.6%. It took a matter of days for the 10-year Treasury to trade through 2.5% up to 2.7%. At that point, the Fed had to sort of step back a little bit and backpedal and say, well, we're not saying we're going to stop it altogether, and we're not saying we're going to cut back dramatically that fast. We're just going to observe to see how the economy is going, at which point the bond market firmed up a little bit. But interestingly, subsequent to that, rates have now, the 10-year Treasury, the benchmark 10-year Treasury has been back approaching 3%. Now, a lot of people don't think it's going to escalate too much more from that, but it's a little bit of a wake-up call. So you've got a double-edged sword. If the economy is improving, you can't continue to sort of pump liquidity, or you don't need to pump liquidity to it. But one of the benchmarks that the Fed is going to, that uses in terms of setting policy is jobs. You know, they want to see unemployment, you know, well below the 7.7% that it is now, into the 6%, 6.5% at a minimum. At that point, that they'll feel that the growth can sort of sustain itself. The challenge with the job growth, however, is that, as we know, all the budgets, and one of the things that's on the table is increasing the debt ceiling, which we've already actually exceeded at the end of last year, even though right now there's political discussions about how we're going to increase it between now and October 18th, when technically the government runs out of money.